Let's go.
What's good, everyone? This is your boy DJ's Raw Uncut Truth, giving you that raw content that you deservedly need. And I got some real ones in the building. First, the homie from H Town, Hoop Jargon. Say what's up to the fan, bro.
What's up, everybody? Hoop jogging in the building, man. Appreciate the opportunity, man. Hopefully I bring it today, man.
Oh, I know you will, bro. And we got the best commentator in BBB content around, DKM. No introduction needed.
I appreciate the love, my man. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So, DKM, can you tell me your experience with BBB virtual pop up? Something new, something that's different. Credit to LeVar's camp who organized the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, those of you who saw my tweet yesterday, it was like I got in the pop-up shop thing. I spent $60 plus. I actually spent around $120. I got like a BBB tracksuit, which will keep me going. You know what I'm saying? When winter comes around, just to keep comfortable in. But my experience with the whole pop-up shop was at first it was confusing, because like on the Twitter page when they announced the whole thing, they said it was going to be May the 4th. When they emailed, they were sending me links to Zoom calls on May the 3rd. So that had me thinking, is it May the 3rd? And then they had the time pushed back to 11 a.m. Pacific time when it was meant to be 9 a.m. Pacific time. It was mad confusing. I wasn't really sure what was going on at first. But I did obviously get my moment with LeVar. I spoke to him for like 2 minutes or whatever. It's kind of funny. At the time I got invited into the Zoom call, bro, I could have been sat there for like 30 seconds just ignoring the guy because I was on my phone typing a message. I look up, the big baller sitting there with a big grin on his face, calling me by my government name, trying to get my attention. And I don't know how Zoom works, you know, the app that they had us speaking to him on. So I'm clicking all kinds of buttons. I forget to record. And, do you know what I mean? That was a missed opportunity to make a wee video right there. But I ain't tripping. I've met LeVar in London, met him in Vegas. We talked about that. Got photos with the guy. But it was good to just catch up with the man.
Yeah, and DKM, credit to you, man. A lot of YouTubers, and I don't fault anyone, but you know how the culture is. They would have been fanning the whole time, like just in awe. But you were just like you wanted to ask him some significant questions, and you were just happy to even speak with LeVar. How was LeVar? Was he as joyful as what people say?
Will you talk about in person or on the virtual call?
The virtual call.
The virtual call is just showing love, do you know what I'm saying? Bigging up the big baller brand. I didn't try and make it about DKM or anything like that. I didn't mention my YouTube channel at any point. I'm not about to sit there, do you know what I'm saying, and spend my minute where I'm speaking to LeVar and just big up myself, do you know what I mean? I showed some respect to what they got going on, showed him my signed Zotos, and a little photo of me and him in Las Vegas. He was loving that. And, I mean, it was only, I'd say only like a 2-3 minute conversation at best, just going back and forth about little things. He was doing the majority of the talking, as you could expect. But, do you know what I'm saying? It was just good to speak to the man and see what he's got going on. He showed love, said make sure to stay safe during these challenging times. And that was pretty much it. Nothing more to it than that.
Well, I'm glad you weren't trying to act like a fanboy. Try to put in your channel, DKM. DKM
Nah,
interviews LeVar.
I wouldn't be making no DKM interviewing LeVar videos. Like,
Where
nah.
everybody knows that it's a it's an interview if you pay $60 for an idol. DKM interviews
$60
LeVar.
appearance fee.
Yeah. So hoop jargon. Tell me your experience with the virtual pop up.
Yeah, man. So mine wasn't as successful as DKM's. And before I even get to that, I want to say though, like DKM nailed it. The opportunity that you create doing this from the fan interaction is like gold. And you can tell what Chris and I forget the other gentleman's name have implemented. And so stuff like this is keeps you ahead of the curve, man. And so I just want to give a shout out to the BBB for doing that because that's dope, man. Now, one thing, me being a older gentleman, I'm 36 years old. I understand two things. One, I'm not a fanboy, so I mean, if I could have got on a Zoom call, cool. If not, it doesn't make or break my day. I'm about the support and I'm about putting out the truth. So, from a logistics standpoint, I understand it's a newer company. You may not get all the orders, get that Zoom call out to everybody. So I was one of the people, unfortunately, who didn't get the invite to the Zoom. and I bought my merch like right after DKM did, well, a day after, which was the second, I believe, which was still in time. But I didn't get it. But it's all good, man. I got a shirt and some shorts coming in this way. DKM got a chance to speak to Big Baller, man. That's good enough for me.
Absolutely, man. And what I like about this, especially what you said about LeVar hoop jargon, is the fact that you weren't too emotional about it. Just, man, I didn't speak with LeVar and this and that. I hate LeVar. You didn't do all that. You didn't make it off emotion. And that's why I try to tell people, man, you got to use logic over emotion. Sometimes when things are new, they're not done the best. They're not perfectly done. It takes time. So when LeVar does this virtual pop-up again, I'm sure that 90%, 100% of people who buy $60 worth of merch will have that one-on-one interview or whatever the interaction. DKM, I wanted to talk about Jello.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I know this. A lot of shines love Jello. We're fans of Jello, but we ain't gonna, you know, overrate him. Do you think it's fair for people to claim that LiAngelo's the next star? He's as good as LaMelo or Lonzo, and that he's just gonna miraculously come into the NBA just scoring a bunch of points, 20 plus points a game, and all that dumb stuff I'm hearing about?
Silly talk, bro. It's, and I don't want people seem to think, and you get as well, bro. I was getting in my live stream that we're somewhat next level Jello haters. Bro, the guy has played around 25 games in the last 4 years. What other player gets that kind of love that they just come into the NBA and dominate, who was never really considered to be an NBA prospect in the first place? And people are going to take that little statement right there, they're going to take it out of context and act like I'm hating, bro. I root for Jello. I've met Jello. I show Jello love in person. Do you know what I'm saying? I've seen Jello go off against the London Lions. I know the context of what he did in Europe. He was balling out coming off the bench in the Lithuanian league. But at the same time, you got to prove yourself as an NBA player. And for me, it's a wait and see thing. If he goes into the G League and dominates, we're going to have a better idea of what kind of player he is, whether he can play in the NBA. Because we never saw him play in college. 1 game, 11 points. That's good. But with NBA implications, it's nothing. Do you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of players that score 11 points in a college preseason game and never get a look at the NBA. The whole reason Melo went back to Spire in the first place was because he wasn't on any draft boards. Why? Because scouts weren't familiar with the level of competition he was facing. It's the same thing with LiAngelo, but LiAngelo never went back to high school because he was too old and he wasn't eligible to go back in college. So LaMelo had to go back and prove himself at Spire. I'm saying Jello has to go back and prove himself in the G League. Because if he goes into the G League and averages 6 points per game, we can forget that NBA talk.
Absolutely. Hoop jargon. You hear about LiAngelo content all around YouTube. What do you think of people saying that the reason why LiAngelo was not ranked in high school was because they had a vendetta against his father? Now, if they would have said the summer league, I would have agreed. The Lakers were mad about LeVar saying things about Luke Walton. I agree with that. They didn't want LiAngelo to be in the summer league. But did you think that it affected his high school ranking?
No, man. I mean, so what you see now, this is a tough game that gets played when fanism, whatever you want to attribute it to, gets conflated with actual hoop evaluation, right? So what happens is people try to draw lines of connectivity that don't exist when they, quote unquote, like a player or what have you. So no, I don't think at all. I mean, Jello put up buckets. Don't get me wrong. Like, I think he led California in scoring his senior year.
Mm-hmm.
When people, I guess, were doubting how he would play without Lonzo. So that's to be respected, man. Jello is a hooper, but Jello is 6'5". He's real stout built. He's not very athletic. So that's not going to translate to a 5-star evaluation as it pertains to the next level, which is college or professional or what have you. I mean, I think he was ranked where he was supposed to be because they go off potential as well, not just your raw stats. and how you fare in the league's climate is how all these rankings and prognostications come about. So, no, I don't think he was given an unfair shake at all. I think he was given a solid, honest evaluation, and I think him going I guess we'll kind of get to that point, but I don't see no problem at all with him, kind of showing flashes of what he can do, like DKM alluded to, with going to UCLA and putting up 11 points in the preseason game. And I want to tell y'all, that is not easy. So some of y'all, and not y'all on this call, but some people will poo-poo that like, oh, that's nothing. But to DKM's point, that's nothing on the radar of the NBA. But some people saying he can't play, period. I'm like, nah, you scoring 11 points in a preseason game, that is not easy to do. And I played, having played D1 ball, I played lower level teams. And sometimes they just good, man. I couldn't get 11 points out in a preseason game. So it's, when you evaluate the ball kids, especially LiAngelo in particular, you got to understand the totality. You got to have nuance to this because it's not just simple as a stat. Because him going the unblazed path, you got to understand. You got to be able to qualify these stats and these appearances he had because it is very much different than anybody else you've probably seen besides his younger brother LaMelo.
Also, DKM. What do you think about certain fans saying that LiAngelo, with the signing of the Rock, Jay-Z's The Rock Nation, the Rock Nation agency, they're saying that LiAngelo is going to automatically be in the NBA. I'm being sensible in saying that Jello is going to go to the G League first, and then potentially the NBA if he does well.
That's exactly what it is. If he balls out in the G League, he's going to be an NBA player. Why do we have to jump ahead and say that he's already an NBA player? Why can't we say he's good enough for the G League? Let's see what he can do in the G League first, because we'll know if he's an NBA player in the G League. People talking about him leading the NBA in scoring and stuff, which is just silly talk right now. He's shown us absolutely nothing to suggest that he can lead the NBA in scoring yet. Keyword yet. You know what I'm saying? You don't just get to the NBA off of a birthright. You know what I'm saying? You have to grind and work your way into there. All we've seen from Jello the last few years is him chucking up shots in 24-hour fitness open gyms, and that ain't hate, that's real. You know what I'm saying? He's been out with injury for a long time. So you can't just give him the benefit of the doubt that he's going to walk in the NBA and be some kind of player. He's got to earn his stripes. And he's earned his stripes into the G League with what he did overseas. Now he's got to earn his stripes in the NBA. You know what I'm saying? By playing well in the G League. Get himself on NBA radar. But more to your question about, I'm saying, like you said earlier, something about LiAngelo, like being a 3-star recruit or whatever because of the hatred with LeVar.
Yeah.
LeVar didn't have his media tour for the first time till summer 2017 when Lonzo first got drafted around the March Madness time. LiAngelo's senior season at Chino Hills was already wrapped up at that point. Nobody had a problem with LeVar back in 2015-16 when Chino Hills won the state championship. It was when Lonzo was preparing for the draft that he was all over TV. And LiAngelo's season had already been all wrapped up and done by then because they lost the Matter Day. So that talk about LeVar and LiAngelo, you know what I'm saying, it doesn't stop LaMelo from getting into the league right now. It didn't stop Lonzo from being the number 2 overall pick. Do you seriously think NBA teams are bringing together their GMs, having conversations about let's try and not get this guy LiAngelo into the league? It ain't happening.
Bro, you heard it here, man. DKM is spilling the flames right now. He said everything I've been thinking about this whole time. It's a lie out there stating that, Jello wasn't ranked as a 5-star because they hated LeVar. When that didn't even happen, he already graduated high school. It doesn't make any sense. But I'm glad we talked about it so we could clear everything up. Now we're about to switch gears, no pun intended, and talk about Shannon Sharp, man. He said something today that was just flat out remedial. He said that LeBron James always empowered his teammates and made them better than what they are. But the year that Lonzo played with LeBron and BI and company, That didn't happen. Hoop Jargon, what do you think about Shannon Sharp's comments about him empowering his teammates?
Well, before you consider the message, you got to consider the source, right? So obviously, we understand that Shannon Sharp is a big fanboy of LeBron James. So obviously, his takes are always going to mirror the sentiment to always boost his profile more than it deserves. So we got to understand that and not be surprised by such a statement coming out of his mouth. But I mean, there's several times we've seen a player not get better, quote unquote, under LeBron's tutelage. I mean, let's go Chris Bosh. Let's go Kevin Love. Let's go, like you said, Lonzo. Like, because he requires a lot of attention on ball. So obviously, if a person is used to having the ball in their hands and you're taking 90% away of your touches, that's going to change your overall game. And it's not going to be for the better unless you're a specialist. So what Shannon likes to believe is the specialist is the only thing that's happening, to him. Now, I will say this year, LeBron has switched up his program and he's capitulated to basically AD. So he's deferred through AD the whole year, which is something he's never done his whole career. And I think he knows he's getting long in the tooth, 35 years old. So this is Shannon's way to kind of gloss over all the stuff, ample of opportunities you saw where that's clearly not the case. So he's going to always use the recency thing, and he's going to gloss over history. So, I mean, that's just, Shannon is being Shannon, man. He's giving half truth because obviously Lonzo, his game, what it's funny, when Lonzo played better is when LeBron got hurt. When LeBron got hurt, Lonzo started running the show. And, man, he was killing. Y'all remember the game Lonzo went down, twisted his ankle when they were playing Houston. Man, he was killing them. It was at like 20 against the James Harden Houston Rockets. You know what I'm saying? The Chris Paul Houston Rockets. And you saw the whole air come out of the team after that point, and we ended up losing that game. But, again, to my point, it's a myth. It's a fallacy amongst the LeBron protector coalition spearheaded by a cat like Shannon Sharp, bro.
So, DKM, what do you think about Shannon Sharp's remedial statements?
Before that, I want to talk about DJ's questions, bro. We got the Jello shines one thing. You want to tick off the LeBron fan base? I mean, geez, we're gonna really have them coming at us today, man.
You know me, I don't give a damn. I mean, I'm emptying the clip today. They can bring it.
Unloading the thing, right? Shannon Sharp, bro. Shannon Sharp's gonna be Shannon Sharp. You know what I'm saying? He's sitting across the table from the most notorious LeBron hater, which is Skip Bayless. You got him, who's the LeBron fanboy. That's all they talk about on Undisputed is LeBron this, LeBron that. They break down every single one of his games. Rarely talk about other players, to be honest. I'm pretty sure whatever team LeBron plays for is the only team Shannon Sharp ever watches. You know what I'm saying? As a football guy, because, bro, they'd be talking about other stuff on Undisputed, but the only stuff they post on their YouTube channel, which is where they get their traffic, is LeBron related. And it's the same stuff every time. Skip Bayless talking about, like, LeBron missed free throws, he deferred down the stretch this many times, passing up the ball, which I'm saying is kind of repetitive. But more so to your question about LeBron empowering his teammates or whatever, let's be real. I understand he got that injury on Christmas Day that set the Lakers back. But LeBron chucked the season when he orchestrated that whole Anthony Davis thing, which every man and their dog knows, worst kept secret in the NBA. LeBron was pulling the strings for that whole AD thing all year long. He used guys like Lonzo, Kuzma, Hart, Ingram as bait, as toys, you know what I'm saying? Like, he comes to the Lakers and within 6 months he's trying to get these guys moved. Clear and obvious, they didn't want to play for him anymore. And even when LeBron came back from injury, he destroyed the chemistry that much. But these guys wanted no part in it. You know what I'm saying? Lonzo and stuff, they were all disinterested for a point. And when Lonzo went down, the team went to... Bro, the team... Nothing changed. LeBron came back. They were no better than when they were when Lonzo was injured. Or LeBron was injured, sorry, and Lonzo was playing. So you know what I'm saying? It was like Lonzo had similar impact on that team as LeBron. You can go check the stats that will back that up.
Yeah, it's really sad, man. LeBron James stands always diss the young guys, dissing Lonzo. They constantly say he's not a good player, he's a bust. This is what LeBron James stands say, or Brandon Ingram's and all that, despite him making an All-Star this year. I tell Laker fans all the time, when LeBron James retire and the Lakers actually build a team the right way, that's when I'll be happy to be a Laker fan again. What do you think of what I just said, Hoop Jargon?
Well, I mean, it's just modus operandi for that fan base, bro. Like that's what they do. The media, that's what they do for him as well. It's always, you build his profile, you tear down the help. Because think about it, these are the same people who have said Kyrie Irving, ungrateful. Kyrie Irving is he should be happy to play for LeBron. The same LeBron James who was trying to facilitate a trade to trade him out of town for Chris Paul. The same guy. You're just supposed to let bygones be bygones. You never remember this, but when Kyrie had a chance to bolt, he was like, I'm done with this. So you just got to understand the mental state of people who follow him. It's always going to be the same program. It's going to be build him up, tear down the help. And when he loses, and this is the funny thing about LeBron, he don't step in the way to not let people do that. He's going to allow the excuses, aka his minions, his pawns, to take the fall for him. It never fails. I mean, we can go to the cast on his hand, trying to make excuses. And the crazy thing is 16, when they lost to the Warriors, they got swept. And everybody act like that game one when J.R. Smith had that gaff, like it just was the turn the whole series around. I mean, they still would have got a gentleman's sweep if they lost that game. Let's be honest. They didn't have a chance to beat the Warriors 4 times. But that's just how the narrative goes. And so,
Hell no.
yeah. You know what I mean? It is what it is, man. You got to expect
They ain't beating no KD Warriors with Kyrie or without Kyrie. You know what I'm saying? It ain't happening. Yeah. And that whole JR thing, JR just made himself the perfect scapegoat.
Exactly.
Yes, they would have won game 1. They ain't winning that series. We saw them go 2-1 up when they didn't have Kyrie and Kevin Love in whatever series it was. I think it might have been 2015 or something. When the Warriors won their first championship.
Yeah,
they were
2015.
Up 2-1. And
you go ahead.
Well, Hoop Jargon, one thing I want to ask you is, what do you see Lonzo's ceiling next year?
Great question, man. Great question. I think Lonzo's ceiling, man, is him getting to that actual Jason Kidd comparison that we all have kind of been expecting from day one. And I told people, man, all the time, you got to wait till about year 3 and 4 when you really know who a rookie is. Now, there are going to be some exceptional ones like Jason Tatum playing a really good system that may show a little quicker. But round 3 and 4 is when you know who that player is. I'll give you another Hall of Famer example, Gary Payton. Gary Payton was terrible up until year 4. Like, barely a noticeable, and go look this up if y'all don't believe me, barely a noticeable fixture in the NBA. In year 4, he figured it out. And I think Zoe, to your question, you're going to see more of that Jason Kidd prototype now. I will say this, his scoring is going to take a hit because obviously all that offensive talent on the New Orleans team. So you won't see him putting up 20 a game like he's probably capable of doing now consistently. So you're probably going to see him more averaging about 12, 13 assist range, averaging about 9, 8 rebounds. But what you're going to see is an infectious skill set of him permeating a winning culture is what you're going to see this year. So I challenge people to not define Lonzo by stats because with this team makeup, with a Zion Williamson, with a B.I., with a J.J. Redick, it's not enough balls to go around for everybody having their hand. So you're going to have somebody feeding them because there's a lot of offensive talent. So that's what you're going to see the big jump of coming next year. He's going to promote a winning culture with that team. And we kind of see it permeating already.
Oh, we'll do. I cannot wait to see the Pelicans ball out next year. All they need is a stretch 5 to alleviate the defensive weaknesses on that back end. We know it's very glaring. It's a problem. So I'm glad they're gonna patch that up with the draft or free agency. What do you say about the idiots out there that say Lonzo, like, if Lonzo does what he needs to do next year, that he should take
saying what?
that he should take less money?
I mean, one thing I don't like to speak about is other people's money, man. We can talk about the Dak Prescott situation, as a reference point. But, I mean, what you got to understand is most fans don't understand how the salary cap works. They don't understand how negotiations work. So they're just going to say anything. So you can't really worry about that, man. That's the job of the front office or what have you. And so what you find is all it is just a reflection of how that person feels about the player. That's all it is. Because they don't know how to number that. You ask the same person hating on Lonzo should take less money. Ask that same person how much free cap space the Pelicans got. I bet they can't answer the question.
Right.
You feel me? You know what I'm saying? So they're just projecting their own disdain on the player and making a general statement that's not informed. So you really can't worry about stuff like that, man. I'm sure Lonzo understands he's not a max contract player just yet. And I'm sure he's going to go for something reasonable because I think he understands greatly that he has to build more on his profile. And I think he's getting there. I mean, he had a phenomenal year this year. So I think in the right time, I think it'll be about 2 years or so when he'll really get his money. But, I mean, you just can't trip off people just talking nonsense. It's not even informed, bro.
Absolutely. DKM, what do you think about the media specifically in the New Orleans area constantly saying if Lonzo excels next year, he should take less so all of his teammates could get paid and they could keep a great team? I say it's stupid. He should never take less for anything.
I feel like no NBA player, this whole notion and stuff that like NBA players should be encouraged or shamed into taking less for the better of the team. Bro, these teams show no loyalty to these guys. Isaiah Thomas got flung out of town months removed from playing his heart out the day after his sister died in a playoff game or some stuff. That's how cold-hearted this business is from the top upwards. So you know what I'm saying? And you're asking these guys to like take less money than what they're worth for a team that most likely as soon as they're no good to them will fling them aside. Nah, that's not how it is. You know what I'm saying? The owners force them into luxury tax because they're the ones making money off these players. I don't think any player should. I just don't agree with the whole concept. Players should be taking less money or whatever. People were saying it about Kobe his last few years. It's like, oh, Kobe took $25 million. They ain't going to get any free agents. Bro, they still had cap space remaining. What evidence did the Lakers show Kobe that we can bring another free agent in even if he did take less money? They couldn't bring in LaMarcus Aldridge, none of these guys. So I just don't agree with that whole notion that players should take money. Go get that bag regardless. You know what I'm saying?
Wait a minute. These are the same shines that pointed out, Kobe took too much money, but didn't bring up the Luol Deng contract that was horrible or the Mozgov contract.
Mm-hmm.
They never bring that up.
So I'm saying you're asking the best player on the team to take less money. What about the bang average players? Like, bro, Luol Deng was getting paid, and I'll root for Luol Deng. I'm saying one of the only British players to play in the NBA. But man, that man was making too much money for too long, bro. All those Chicago Bulls guys must have been Joakim Noah too, bro. Like D Rose. Tibbs must have ran them all into the ground. You know what I'm saying? Do you know how people say that like Tibbs overplayed his players? Every single one of them had crooked knees. You know what I'm saying? Couldn't walk by their later years. Luol Deng, Joakim Noah, and D Rose, all once upon a time great players, ran into the ground by Thibodeau and shelled the players they once were way earlier than they should have been.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Hoop Jarkin, I want to bring this up because I want to let it be known. I don't want the Knicks to hire Tom Thibodeau. He'll run his players in the ground. He does not know how to develop young athletes. If the Knicks get Tom Thibodeau, I don't want LaMelo to play for that team. What do you think about that?
Hell no. Man, listen, man. Tom Thibodeau, bro. I mean, how many times do you need to see the same movie to know how the movie gonna end, man? Like, seriously, like, no, it's not the way you go. Now, if you got a veteran-laden team and you want a guy that's, I guess Tim Duncan was gonna succeed Popovich, but if you got a veteran team that just wants to work hard, kind of like that 04 Pistons team, Bring in Tom Thibodeau. Fine. I have no problem with that. I know they're in the last legs. That's cool. But to develop talent, who has Tom Thibodeau developed in his whole career besides Jimmy Butler? Jimmy Butler, I guess you can say that's one of his success stories. Who else can you see thrive who's young under him? I'll wait. Exactly. So with that being said, hell no, keep him all the way. The Knicks, but you know what? That's a Knicks move. I expect the Knicks to do some dumb shit. When you got one of the best prospects coming up the pipeline since, hey, let's keep it real, since Ben Simmons, I guess you can akin to his game too. You need to give them the ability to run the floor. You got to give them the ability to play in space. Because you got to remember, Ben Simmons, his stats in college weren't that impressive. But if you understand how the NBA game goes, you give them open space, they're going to have a lot more opportunity with their big size and be able to dribble and what have you. So LaMelo is going to be fine. You can't have a guy who's just going to stagnate his game, running sets too often, focusing way too much on defense, and just playing these crazy minutes when you should be kind of having a good balanced mixture of the three. So hell no. No Thibodeau, man.
What do you think about that, DKM?
About Thibodeau taking over the Knicks?
Oh, yeah.
Bro, maybe as a defensive assistant coach or something, but as the head coach, hell no. Melo will be out the league playing in the JBA by 25. I'm being for real, bro. Like, nah, you can't have that guy in. I don't rate Thibodeau as a coach, you know what I'm saying? It's like, he went to the Timberwolves, bro, and I swear to God, he tried to, like, reassemble his entire old Chicago team. He had Butler, he had Rose,
Taj Gibson.
Taj Gibson. Did he not try and bring in, like, he brought in one of Deng or Noah, did he not? Or he at least tried to. I don't even know, bro. But he wanted to assemble literally the whole entire old Bulls team as like his rotation guys with wooden legs, along with Karl Anthony Towns, Andrew Wiggins. So he comes in a young team, do you know what I mean? Zach LaVine, whatever, trades him for Jimmy Butler and turns him into the Chicago Timberwolves. I mean, I don't want that guy anywhere near LaMelo. I'm sorry. Maybe on the defensive end, I'm saying Tibbs like could get him to put in a bit of extra work or whatever, man him up a little bit, but you want a coach that's going to just allow Melo to be Melo. You know what I'm saying? Let him... And that's assuming that LaMelo goes to the Knicks, which, with the Raymond brothers now representing him, their connections with the Knicks, I think they're the favourite, but I think it's too soon to say anything before the draft lottery.
And DJ, I want to chime in on this before you remoderate. I think DKM brought up an excellent point about him being a defensive coach, because let's ask this question: when has Tibbs shown to be a good head coach? What, a top level head coach? When has he shown that? Never. He's shown, you know what I'm saying, to be a good D coordinator for the Celtics. That's when he was at his best. So maybe he should return back to that. Maybe the NBA is overblowing his profile, and they should consider to, you know, hey, bring him in as a defensive guy, shore up that defensive line, and put a young progressive mind on offense and get the best of both worlds.
Absolutely. I gotta say this, man. I gotta keep harping on this. This is a scenario for LaMelo Ball in his camp. I hope the Ball family don't, like, let's say Coach Thibodeau is the coach for the Knicks, but the Ball family still want LaMelo to play for the Knicks. I'm saying it right now. If you're listening, Ball family, anytime you're listening, never let LaMelo play for that coach. If that happens, his career will not be the same. I'm saying it right now. It will not be the same. He will not allow LaMelo to be LaMelo. If Tom Thibodeau is the Knicks coach, plan B is the Detroit Pistons. That's the team where you plug LaMelo in. They're automatically a playoff team. They get Blake Griffin back. They got a lot of shooters. They got Derrick Rose to mentor him. Bam. Perfect situation.
Yeah, potentially. Problem is they have no control over that. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good place to land. I think him going to Golden State would be a dope situation. I know Golden State has the draft capability this year. And I think, man, I kind of going on a side tangent. Golden State is going to surprise a lot of people this year, man.
Hoop jargon, man. I gotta disagree with you, man, on
Okay.
that one. Golden State, their fans are just reckless. They're disrespectful to LaMelo. DKM, what do you think about that, man?
My whole issue is with Melo going to the Golden State Warriors. You see the way the media have been yapping away, like the Golden State Warriors media just discrediting him. It's like, fine, you don't want to take him, you want to take a big man. No one's complaining. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's complaining if you don't pick LaMelo Ball. I mean, yeah, it would maybe be nice to see him get himself like a championship ring or whatever. You know what I'm saying? If the Warriors come back strong next season. But it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me because they've already do have Steph Curry and Clay. And I understand the counter argument for that is, oh, well, maybe bring in someone younger to lead the next generation. But they just traded off LiAngelo Russell. So I'm saying they had a point guard for the future in LiAngelo Russell, which didn't work. So I'm saying they had 3 point guards, a younger getting 3 guard players. LiAngelo comes in, the fit didn't work. They flip him for Andrew Wiggins. It would just make more sense to me to go and grab an Onyeka Okongwu or a James Wiseman. Personally, I think Onyeka Okongwu is going to be a better NBA player than James Wiseman. So if I'm the Warriors, I'm taking Okongwu, have him with Draymond Green, kind of like an Eli Scott. Do you know what I'm saying? Onyeka pairing while Steph Curry and Clay, who are like LiAngelo and LaMelo, just jacking up threes. Do you know what I'm saying? Chino Hill's system in the NBA with the Golden State Warriors. Because Eli and Onyeke's fit seamlessly, so would Draymond and Onyeka. But I'm going off on a bit of a tangent here. I wouldn't really like to see him in Golden State, mainly because of what the media were saying, and also just because I think a big man would be a better fit for them and what they're trying to do in the near future.
Well, I'll say this. I don't base my opinion on the media because one thing you'll see is the media is wishy-washy as hell, man. They'll hate you until they love you. So I'm just going off of fit and potential. That's all I'm looking at. I don't care what fans say because fans don't know a damn thing, in my opinion. I think it's been shown time after time that fans get excited. They don't know how to put a team together. That's why, most fans aren't general managers. But what I'm thinking is like more or less the Kobe Bryant approach. You bring him behind Eddie Jones 2 years. Year 3, it's a madman, running out there with this astute sense, how to run this system, and you hitting the ground running. So I can potentially see that because Steph and Clay, they're getting a little long in the tooth, man. He's like, 32, 31 years old. Draymond's old. So at this point, you got to be able to have that contingency plan. I think them bringing in Andrew Wiggins was perfect. Like you bring a young wing who can potentially learn the Golden State way and be the future of that team, pair him up with LaMelo. So think about Wiggins at 28 in 2 years and LaMelo at, will he be like 21? That's a hell of a nucleus to develop and keep that Golden State way going. Not saying, Wiseman makes a lot of sense. I'm not saying getting the big does not make sense. I'm just saying, for us fans of the Ball family, of course that was going to put on ice for 2 years, him, being the max player he can be. But I think he would be ingrained into a championship level system in the program if you did that way. That's kind of what I mean by that.
That's interesting, bro. I could say this about LaMelo. If he were to get drafted by the Warriors, the positives will be he will be able to learn from Steph and Clay. He will expand his game, and he'll be part of a championship team. Would he be Rookie of the Year? Most likely not.
Nope.
But down the line, he will be more of a star in their development. The worst thing is Steve Kerr trying to hold back his game. That's the only bad part about it. DKM, what do you think about what I just stated?
I just wouldn't want to see LaMelo being held back once he gets into the NBA. I want to see him go all out. If he goes to the Warriors, he's not going to be starting. Do you know what I'm saying? Or probably not going to be starting. I don't want to see him coming off the bench, not having the keys to the offense. Do you know what I'm saying? Allow him to be Melo. That's what I'm saying. I want him to be the same Melo we saw in the Illawarra Hawks. Running the point guard like someone like Trae Young. Establish yourself as an elite player your first couple of years in the league, get paid, and then when you're a free agent, what I'm saying? Then you can start worrying about trying to get yourself some championships. That's how I think, especially in the modern game, is the way to go about it. Because I just feel like it could take 3-4 years before we see Melo being the player we know he can be if he goes to somewhere like the Golden State Warriors. I'm not 100% against it, but I also fear that they might just trade him. We saw the pure talk recently, I'm not sure if you guys saw it, about a whole 3-team trade involving the Raptors and Sixers that would send Melo to Toronto. I'd probably rather see him and Siakam together with the Raptors development system than him go to Golden State. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we know what happens when the Raptors meet the Warriors in the finals, bro. It's curtains. Seen that before.
Absolutely. Both of you made great points. One more thing. This is the last thing we're going to talk about. But
DJ, before you go there, can I interject what DKM just said?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So now I would tread carefully with referencing that article. And, when y'all hit me up a little earlier while I was on the phone, I was actually talking to one of my NBA insider cats. And that dude who sent that tweet out, be very, very leery about listening to what he has to say. This is the same guy who said Luka Doncic would be a bust. This is the same guy who said Luka Doncic will average 10-3 if he played at college. So I forget the brother's name. His name is Richard something. So I would say, like, literally, my insider went off for 30 minutes about this dude when y'all hit me. So I would say be very, very leery about following what he reports out, because he is not them. He calls himself Yoda of Twitter.
Rashard Phillips.
Rashard Phillips. Bro,
I got to
he is
interject
terrible.
on that too, though.
Go ahead.
Because this guy, people love to focus on the Luka Doncic thing, right? But the amount of players that I've seen him pull up old tweets from back in 2016, he got Luka horribly wrong. But he also said that Trae Young, the reason he was so against Luka was because he was our Trae Young protagonist. He was talking about Trae Young being a lottery pick before his freshman year at Oklahoma State, when he was like ranked 40th in the country. He also said that Kendrick Nunn was going to be an NBA player way back when he was getting no love going undrafted and stuff. He said that Kendrick Nunn could be a star player. He also said that Ja Morant was going to have a breakout season in his sophomore year and be one of the top picks in the draft, when Ja Morant was nowhere to be seen on any mock boards going into his sophomore year at Murray State, wherever he played. So yes, he might have got the Luka Doncic one horribly wrong. That's kind of out of his field over in Europe. When it comes to college basketball, I got to give the man some love. Kobe said he was one of the best players he's ever played against that never made the NBA. So I feel like Rashard Phillips needs some love and gets too much criticism for that whole Luka Doncic trait.
Then that's fair. At the same time, he was real staunch on Alonzo Trier. So what you find with Richard is he likes domestic talent a lot. You know what I mean? And so he's not real big on European cats, again, with the Alonzo Trier prognostications. And again, my insider was telling me, he talked to Trier. Trier was like, nah, bro. Yeah, I ain't on Luka level. So you can take that for what it's worth. So again, with the trade prognostications and all that, I would just be a little leery about what that. And again, we're not naming sources, NBA players have said that, like, this dude tripping. So I just want to lay that where it's at.
But hey, one more thing. He wasn't the only one to report that. Corey Homicide Williams, the person who broke the LaMelo Puma story, who I've got an interview with in the works coming soon, stay tuned for that, was saying the exact same thing. So did it come from Rashad or did it come from Homicide? Who knows? I know what you're saying. You can't take these. I mean, the draft lottery order isn't even out yet. How can we be talking about stuff like that? But I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah, one thing I'm going to point out before we transition, Corey Homicide Williams did report on a potential trade with the Warriors, Raptors, and 76ers. He's not affiliated with Rashard Phillips. He reported on it. So we'll see what happens at the end of the day. We'll see.
Well, let me ask you this, too. Like, so
yeah.
For them trading, basically, in this scenario, the 76ers would acquire Kyle Lowry and give up Ben Simmons. Logistically, I don't know. It seems a little sus that you take on that big contract for an aging player that's obviously on a decline. I don't see the incentive for them. But, it is what it is.
Yeah, Hoop Jargon, I understand what you're saying because, you know, Kyle Lowry's agent and taking that contract and you're trading away Ben Simmons to the Warriors, that doesn't make any sense. But that's what they're saying. We'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Um, lastly, we're going to talk about the Pelicans, and a lot of stands around are saying, "Oh, all three Ball brothers need to be on the same team. LaMelo need to be drafted by the Pelicans." I don't want LaMelo to play for the Pelicans. The Pelicans couldn't even use Lonzo right until Lonzo took charge in his own hands in the second half of the season, started balling out. Um, Alvin Gentry is not a coach that allows his players to play their game. Uh, Hoop Jargon, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, LaMelo doesn't fit on what they got going at all. That's just too much star power on one team. It's not happening. And to your second point there, yeah, it took him like half a season to figure out how to play Lonzo when pretty much LeVar told you a long time ago how to play him. Put him out there, let him figure it out. That's the kind of player he is. And so, yeah, I mean, you don't want to compound the problem with just another star figure when I think their nucleus is fine. So I just don't think we talking about, y'all just last segment speaking about how y'all want LaMelo to shine. You're not going to shine in that situation because there's just too many, you know, potent offensive options out there and a primary ball handler where if LaMelo, you want him to shine right off the bat, you got to give him the ball. So him and Lonzo, that's just not a good idea, man. At this juncture of their careers, I don't think that's good. Not there.
What do you think, DKM?
Now, I want to see the Pelicans go after a big man in the draft. You know what I'm saying?
Bingo.
I know I said this earlier, but I would love to see Onyeka Okongwu back with Lonzo Ball and the Pelicans. You could have Zion, Ingram, Lonzo, and then Onyeka is like a small ball big man. You've already got like Zion up in there. You know what I'm saying? I think that would be crazy. I don't know about the fit with LaMelo and the Pelicans. You know what I'm saying? You'd have LaMelo, Zion, and Lonzo on the same team. That's just like social media frenzy right there. You know what I'm saying? That'd be some next level stuff. But I just don't see it. I want to see LaMelo go to a situation where he's the guy. So I'm saying that's what I want to see. And I don't feel like he'd be the guy on the same team as Zion, on the same team as Steph Curry, possibly even alongside Trae Young in Atlanta. I want him to be the primary ball handler his first season, even if it means he struggles. I want to see him be handed the keys to a franchise like Luka was when he went to Dallas. Like when Trae Young rocked up in Atlanta, he struggled at first, but within a season, he's an all-star second year, putting up 30 a game. I want him to go to a team like the Pistons even, do you know what I'm saying? Because they have a point guard. They have Derrick Rose, you know what I'm saying? But he isn't a point guard of the future, and he's not someone that would get in the way of LaMelo's development, I don't think. Same with the Suns, you know what I mean? They have Ricky Rubio. You know what I'm saying? I'm a big fan of Ricky Rubio. I think Ricky Rubio is one of the most underrated basketball players in the entire world.
Yes,
But that's
sir.
not like a position that LaMelo couldn't eventually break up into. You know what I'm saying? Whereas if he's to go to these other situations, he's gonna like share ball handling responsibilities with Trae Young or Lonzo. Not yet. Maybe some years down the line when he's established himself. But I want to see him go somewhere like Detroit or New York. Not too hot on the Pelicans, who I want to see draft Onyeka Okongwu.
Absolutely, man. I also stated that I want LaMelo to be in the East. The West is too rigorous right now, and for LaMelo to really shine and get all his touches and really make some noises in the East. Because let's be honest, it's easier to make the playoffs in the East. It's easier to make a name for yourself as a young player in the East. If I'm a young athlete, I do not want to be on the West unless I'm on a team that I know is a surefire playoff team. That's the only time. That's the only way. If I was an athlete like that I would want to play in the West.
Bro, if LaMelo goes to the West, there is a very, very high chance that one of him or Lonzo are never all-stars in their career. And I'm not saying that they can't play at an all-star caliber level, but you've got someone like Mike Conley who's never been an all-star in his career because he's played in the Western Conference.
That's a
The
good
Western
point.
Conference, I'm saying, their talent, I mean, the guards, like Devin Booker, who's averaging damn near 30 points per game, can't get in. While in the East, you're having someone like Spencer Dinwiddie, a secondary ball handler for a fringe playoff team, is getting all-star love. Do you know what I'm saying? So the imbalance with the conferences in terms of star power is massive. I believe that's a huge reason for the NBA's ratings. They messed up by letting Zion go to the West because Zion, people pay attention to what he's going on. I don't think the NBA are going to fumble the bag with the ratings, especially, bro, China screwed the NBA with both COVID and, you know what I'm saying, not airing the games with that whole, who was it, Mike D'Antoni issue earlier on in the year. So LaMelo got to go to the Eastern Conference for the NBA's best interest, in my opinion, and for his own.
Well, I mean, with the Zion situation, that was kind of a stimulus package that the NBA gave to New Orleans, along with David Griffin for the AD situation. So you got to kind of understand how that shook out. But to your point, AD stays on the West, so all the talent stays in one conference. So I understand that. I'm more or less just kind of like the LeVar thing, man. I'm cool with his kids learning trial through fire, man. Like, you don't have to put them in the most advantageous situation. I'm cool with putting them in an adverse situation, let them figure it out. So put them in a veteran situation where they learn under the tutelage. That's why I love them going to Golden State and figuring it out. Well, that not them, him going to Golden State and figuring it out and then becoming a championship athlete, because that potentially could be better for your career. Because you mentioned Trae Young doing his thing out there in Atlanta, which he is, but he's also on the second worst basketball team in basketball. So, you know what I'm saying? You got to kind of understand both caveats on that. So I'd rather him go and learn and play on a good team than sit there and be an all-star on a bum-ass team, me personally. So that's
I
kind of my
understand
insight
that.
on that.
But then you look at the Hawks' future. They do have some nice pieces. I think Kevin Huerter is underrated. He could be like a mini Klay Thompson in a way. I'm saying not quite Klay Thompson. I don't want to throw Klay Thompson's name out there. I get on people all the time for doing it with Jello, but I'm talking like that type of, you know what I'm saying, player, 3-and-D guy. I rate DeAndre Hunter. I hold Cam Reddish. I think he's got a ton of potential if he can figure it out. John Collins, very good player, potentially an all-star in a few years. They're going to have another top pick this year. So I think the Hawks could be onto something. Another team I'd like to see draft Onyeka Okongwu. Bro, I'm telling you, I'm the biggest Onyeka Okongwu stan in the world. That guy is a top 5 player in this draft class. No doubt.
Yeah, if the New Orleans
man.
Pelicans could get Big O, it's a blessing in disguise. He fixes their weaknesses, their main weakness. You don't have to worry about putting bum ass Jahlil Okafor in for 5 minutes or 10 minutes a game. And speaking of Okafor, this is why you don't listen to idiots like Ticket TV, who said on his show that Jahlil
I
Okafor
already know where you going.
is better than Lonzo. See, that brother must have been on some crack or meth to be saying some idiotic stuff like that. So if you want to listen to real basketball talk, sub to my channel, sub to Hoop Jargon, and sub to DKM. Brothers, I want to thank you guys for joining the show. We got to do this more often. You know,
Yes, sir.
they want to hear that real talk. They don't want to hear no fanboy, just everybody agreeing on everything. I like the fact that we disagreed, but we found a common ground.
Thanks.
Yes, sir.
That's what I like,
Absolutely.
man. I can't be here just agreeing. I respect basketball too much to be sitting here saying some bullshit and everybody co-signing. So I appreciate you giving me the platform to, speak on this, and us having discourse is perfect, man.
Absolutely. And thank you too for joining the show. Peace out, everyone. Stay safe out there. Protect your loved ones. Pray. Already.